strength. So the diagnosis of this man's certain condition was known today as congenital clubfoot. So this means that this man could not walk like you and I, but rather he would be walking on the inside or the outside of his feet, in which we know that our ankle bones were not designed to support our body weight in that particular way. So this man was looked at as being a sinner to the Jewish community because they believed in the reincarnation of the dead. They believed that if you had a condition in your body, that either you sinned in another life, you sinned in your mother's womb, or that your parents sinned. But whatever the case was, that this man, to the Jewish people, he didn't qualify to go beyond the gate of the temple. This is one of the reasons why in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse number 29, Paul had to address the issue of people being reincarnated as well as people being baptized in proxy of the dead. But aren't you glad that though man looks at the outward appearance, God judges our heart? Now, this man, the Bible did not give to us in this particular chapter this man's age, but it did say that he was a man, which suggests to us that he had to have had this condition for at least 13 years. Why? Because a Jewish boy became a man at the age of 13, in which he had what is called a bar mitzvah. And incidentally, a girl became a woman at the age of 12, in which she had what is called a bat mitzvah. But just to solidify what I'm saying, if you read in the post-text of Acts chapter 3, you will see over in Acts chapter 4, right around verse 22, that the man was above 40 years on whom this miracle of healing showed. So this man had to suffer with this condition for over 40 years. I've come to find out, and I found it rather interesting, that this man had somebody that would take time out of their schedule daily to take him to the gate, but not beyond the gate. I've come to find out that some people in life don't want to see you succeed. As long as you are dependent on them, as long as you are carrying them to church, they are all right with your situation. But when you become like the words of Webby and Lil Boosie for the young people, when you become INDEPENDENT, do you know what that means? Independent from them, that's when all hell begins to break loose in your life. But tell your neighbor, no cross, no crown. Now it is. I've given to you this man's diagnosis of congenital clubfoot. But a good doctor knows that he cannot just give to you a diagnosis without giving to you a prognosis. This man thought because of his condition, Peter and John would treat him like the others did. However, the God in Peter saw that the man's need was greater than his want. Peter said, silver and gold have I none, but such as I have, give I thee. The prognosis is, in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. I don't know who this message is for tonight, but I came by to encourage somebody's heart to let you know that it's still going to come to pass. I know that the diagnosis throughout America says that we are in a recession, but Dr. Jesus told me to tell you that your prognosis is, if my people, which are called by my name, would humble themselves and pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and heal their land. Just in case, though, there's somebody still sitting here today that doesn't understand what prognosis is, let me give it to you in a church analogy. Prognosis is to a patient what prophecy is to the church. So prophesy to the person beside you and tell them, in spite of what it looks like, 2009 is still the year when it shall come to pass. And ask me how I know, because Jesus is all that we need. This reminds me of a story, and I'll be out of your way. There was this man that had lost his job, and everywhere that he went, no one could or would help him, and he was praying to God because he was contemplating suicide. He told God, he said, God, the first place I went to was a job fair. And this man said, they told me that all the positions had been filled. He said, I went to the employment office. They told me that there were no job openings available. He said, I went to the Social Security Administration. They told me that you don't qualify for Social Security benefits. He said, so I went to United Way. United Way told me that they only help organizations and not individuals. So he said, Lord, I tried one more option. I went to the Salvation Army. My last option was I went to the South